Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I would give you an outline of a white paper here. Now, a lot of people are trying to sell AIs, or they're trying to sell these little local models, or they're trying to sell you a service, or they're just basically selling a lot of stuff. Now, AI has recently, I would say in the last year, went from, the robots are going to take over the planet to, well, maybe it's helpful and maybe it's not going to take over the planet. But people are more and more realizing that an AI is really the way to go. I mean, it's does so much more work so much faster than anything we've got out there. And so I'm looking at this and I see just in the last 2 years, or since I've been involved, a year maybe, that it's moving at light speed. It's the industry's just booming. The big boys are pouring billions of dollars into it. They're talking about a gigawatt uh, server farms. They're pouring billions, trillions of dollars into this, and so it's not a question of whether AI is going to be used. It already is used, and people are investing a tremendous amount of money in AIs and getting them bigger and better and faster and things like this. So, but the thing is that with these supergiant computers, they have to run on the internet. They're on the cloud. If you want to use one of their models, you got to go to the cloud. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's all fine and good. That's how they get trained. But the problem is that for whatever reason, maybe people want to keep their company private. They don't want their data out there in the cloud. Uh, Maybe they don't have an extra $5 million or something. Maybe they don't want us pay $2,000 or $3,000 a month for cloud services just to run an AI. Um, Maybe they're just a small business and they need a little AI to handle their accounting, or they're a car lot and they want to track their sales, or maybe they're a pretty big company like a trucking company and they want to track all of their shipping and stuff like this, but they don't want to go and pay for the cloud. Now, a big computer that'll run a 200 billion parameter model is going to cost you quite a bit. You're probably looking at least $10,000 to get a model, and there are people now starting to make these smaller. They're far above a desktop or a gaming computer, but they're designed and made to run an AI. Well, you can't run very big models, but you can run some good models. And you don't need some giant infrastructure to run your little business, see? So you're either forced to pay a subscriber fee or something like this. It's a recurring fee that you pay all the time. Well, this is all fine and good. You can have the big boys do all the tech work in the background and you'd be just fine. But there is a market for people that want their own server. People that, whatever reason, they want their own server. They want it tuned to their business and they don't want anybody else to know about their business or whatever. So they need a local large language model that'll run on the desktop, or even a baby server. We're looking at minimum $5,000 to build a computer, the that has a sufficient GPU and computing power to run large language models. Now I've got a standalone server that runs. I've got 6 AI models on it. I can switch them back and forth. I'm doing a lot of work on the control panel and how they all relate to each other and talk to each other. And so it's a very doable thing. I've got a working server right now. It's no problem. I could show anybody how to do it. It took me quite a while to build it. But see, we're looking at a market basically, $5,000 to $10,000 just for a computer. Okay, well, that's okay for a small business. If they're doing $100,000, $200,000 a year, a few $1,000s for a computer is not that big of a deal. And as more and more companies and manufacturers get into this, there's a market there. There's a very big market for an affordable standalone computer that'll run large language models. Now, we don't know what this AI would be particularly used for. We don't really care. Maybe the guy's building cars with it, or maybe he's making videos, or he's writing songs, or whatever he's doing. Whatever reason he wants an AI, that's why he's got the AI. And the manufacturers are now making computers that are affordable. You don't need $100,000 computer to do this. So $10,000, pretty much any business has got $10,000, and that's just the computer. Now you got to put some kind of software on it. You're going to have to put your AI suite on there. You're going to have a lot of configuration. You're going to have to be able to get these models to talk to each other. Well, that's all doable. That's all very doable. It's not that big a deal. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. But the purpose of this white paper is it's not about whether AI society is coming. You have to be completely blind not to tell that, this is the next generation. Everything is going to be AI. Pretty soon we won't even have cell phones. We're going to have a unit that probably works as a phone, but AI is going to be running everything, and you're not going to have a bunch of apps. It's just going to give you whatever you ask it for. And so the problem is that we've got millions and millions and millions of people, out of billions on the earth. We've just got millions of people that not only have a need for a small local model, but have the money to buy a reasonably priced setup, say $10,000 or even $5,000 if you sourced your parts. And they can probably even pay somebody $20 an hour to sit there and run the thing. It's not a matter of whether it's coming. It is coming, and people have enough money to buy a local standalone server in AI or several models of AIs. Now let's say that I'm building these systems. Okay, I'm probably building them slowly, maybe a couple a month, and make $5,000 or $6,000 on each one, and with all the setup and stuff, you're only make a couple a month. If I had some more guys, I might be able to make one a week. All right, let's say I could make one a day. Let's say I could get enough guys here and I could turn out one computer every day. Okay, in a year, how many do I got? I got 350 computers. And 350 compared to even 100,000 people that want it. is nothing. It's a drop in a bucket. It's not possible to even begin to thinking about that. You know, if I only had 1,000 guys that wanted a computer, and I could build 300 a year, it would take me 3 years just to get the backlog. And in 3 years, who knows what it's going to be then? It's going to be far beyond it. So you can't have a 6 month long backlog. You've got to give somebody something in a week. So if I say that I had 100 guys, and each one of these guys could build 2 a week, you know, that's 200, that's 800 a month. Even if I was making 1,000 ready to go systems tuned and everything every month, 1,000, it would take me 100 months just to touch a part of this whole thing. You know, this is like 10 years worth of work, and that's only for not even 1,000,000 people. And whenever we got, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars being thrown around, and this market here is here. It's already here. It's not arguing about whether it could be or couldn't be. It is here. So the idea here, what I've got for the idea for this white paper, is not that is it going to be valuable, but how do we get it into the hands? You got 1,000,000 people that want a computer. How are you going to possibly make 1,000,000 computers and deliver them within a reasonable amount of time? Say even 6 months. How could you make 1,000,000 computers and deliver them? Well, that's a pretty serious question. So it's not a matter of, is the demand there? Demand's obviously there. But how can you do it? So the subject of this white paper is, I've got this system called Synthari, for short for synthetic intelligence, and you can check out my website at synthari.org. I work on that almost every day, putting up stuff. But I've come up with this idea of making a franchise. All right, now you bring some people in. They have to be a little bit tech savvy. They got to know, you know, which end of a mouse is which, and got at least some idea of how a computer works and how you configure it. And I can teach somebody how to install the system. I've already got the system. I've already got all the tools and all of the flows and everything all worked out. Let's see, I have a complete system that's ready to basically just copy onto a hard drive and then configure it. If it goes to a dentist office, it's going to have to be configured for dentists. If it's a car sales, so it's got to be configured for a car lot. If it's an accounting firm, it's got to be configured as an accountant. You know, there's certain databases you need, certain calls. But that's all doable. The idea here is to license installers. Train them on the system, train them how it works, and even actually provide them with the materials. So you have a franchise. You know, it's a Synthari.org franchise. I think I'll probably run it under the name of ThinkForge or something like that. But you know, you got a basically hardware about $10,000, and you got a week of fooling around with it. Well, one of these systems, operational and tuned to your business, is worth about $20,000. Well, that's not really much money when you're talking about business. You know, I mean, that's like, I don't know, a couple weeks income a week. You know, it's not even a big business. It's, you know, somebody that's got less than 100 employees. Well, they could use an AI. So my idea here for this white paper is how to meet the demand. See, it's not a matter of whether it is, it's how to meet it. And this is a good way to do it. is creating a franchise. You sell the training, you sell the franchise, the guy takes it to another part of the country someplace, he goes out to New York and he sets it up. Now each one of these AI suite has a bunch of tools, like for example I got a grandpa tracker, tells you if he's trying to drive when he's not supposed to be to drive. I got a fall detector, an elder fall detector, that's a tool. It tells him if grandpa fell down, the AI call him and ask him, are you all right? There's so many things. There's a title restoration page. You don't have a car, you got a car, but you don't have a title, you don't know how to get a title. Here's the whole thing, pulls up everything for that state, gives you all the paperwork, fills it out for you even, and then you just have to sign and mail it off and you'll get a title back. Well, that's a tool. That's just one tool. I probably got 100 of these various tools. I got a painter and a can. You could take a picture of your car and it tells you what's the next sandpaper to use. I got a plumber in a can. You take a picture under the sink, it tells you exactly what parts to buy and gives you advice on how to do it and how to put them in, and even tells you all the tools and everything. I got lots and lots of these tools. Tool ideas are easy. You got stupid stuff like, scan my email and give me the most important. Stuff like that's easy. There's a lot of tools. Now these tools, maybe they're $10, $15, $20 a month. So you got 50 tools at $10 a month. That's $5,000. That's $5,000 every month just for that tool that you're running on your little computer that's just bought for $5,000. So in a month you can get all your money back. So this is the idea of this white paper. Is not about whether the market exists, but it's how do you deliver to this product. And franchises are not a new thing or even a novel idea, but the way that I'm arranging this, and anybody that wants to get into this market, and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to need 1,000 computers. How do I do it? How can I build 1,000 computers? Well, this is how you can build 1,000 computers. You get franchises. You train people how to do them. You show them how to use the tools. You show them what tools there are. You even show them there's a whole section of this Centauri system that'll build a tool for you. Or build a whole suite of AIs that know how to build a tool. So you tell them, make me a video generator. It says do this, and here's your batch file, and click here, and you got a video. So this is the idea of this white paper. How to meet the demand. And this is one solution. There's probably lots and lots of solutions, but it's a worth good read, and it'll come up on the white paper section here on Centauri.org. And I'm just trying to get some video out and get this stuff all documented and put up, and just get stuff out on YouTube and have people watch it. And if you're interested, fine, like it, subscribe, ask me a question, make a comment, whatever. I'll answer all the comments. So anyway, look forward to the completion of this white paper. And the way I do it is I make a video and I do all the ideas and everything in the video, and then I write the white paper. Sometimes I write the white paper and then make a video, but this is one where I put the idea on the video and then I'll write the white paper later.